Yo, what's going on? My name is Mike and I am the Sports Dope. You can find me on Twitter at that Sports Dope or on Instagram with the same name at that Sports Dope. If you happen to come across this as a podcast on iTunes or Google Podcast and you feel like watching me for some reason on YouTube, you go to mindsandmike.com/slash the Sports Dope, and there you'll find a bunch of social media icons, and one of them will be YouTube, and that's where you'll find the link. I don't have my own unique URL on YouTube yet because I don't have any fucking followers or subscribers rather. So, feel free, help me out. Go over there and hit subscribe. Help the kid get a fucking unique URL. Come on, I want youtube.com/the Sports Dope, and I need your help for that. If you happen to come across this on YouTube and you're interested in a podcast, you could find it on iTunes by searching the Sports Dope, or like I said, go to that website, mindsandmike.com and /the Sports Dope, and you'll see a bunch of social media icons. All right. Google Play though, or Google Podcasts, I think you have to look for Minds of Mike. I got to fix my RSS feed link, but it's just use the title of the website. So, if you've tuned in before, you're used to hearing me talk about football, but the basketball season, NBA, right around the corner, and I do enjoy the basketball. I don't claim to know as much about it as I do about football, which obviously you've seen me these last couple of weeks and I've been shitty, but we're turning that around. That's a different story. We're gonna turn that around tomorrow. It's Saturday night right now, and we're turning that shit around tomorrow. But what we're gonna do today, we're gonna run through win totals and a couple of division plus odds, a couple of things that I like out there in the NBA futures market, and so we're gonna start with the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, and we're starting off with the world champions right now, the Raptors. They lost their main guy, Kawhi Leonard, obviously. He's out there on the Clippers now. They still got just about everybody else. Pascal Siakam is awesome, but I don't trust the rest of the team. The win total for this year is 46.5. To win the division, they're at plus 675. That's the Atlantic Division, and I don't like the number. I think they could get a little, world championship hangover here. Kyle Lowry, he's a good player, but he's getting old. They're all getting old over there. Pascal Siakam is the future, and he's got a decent supporting cast, Serge Ibaka, but I'm just not a fan of this number 46.5. I think it sounds about right. I don't like them to win the division. The division's gotten a little bit stronger. A couple people moved places. We'll talk about that in a second. But one thing I do kind of like, I like the Raptors not to make the playoffs at plus 400. Like I said, I could see a little bit of a hangover there. And, them missing the playoffs would not shock me at all. Get into a little bit of rebuilding. Maybe they're a little bit down. Maybe they're middling. And they see that there's not really a path for them to go forward. And maybe they trade some of those guys. Marc Gasol, he's out there. But, he's also, all these guys are in their, mid-30s now. And believe me, as a guy in his late 30s, I fucking hurt and I don't do shit. So these guys are out there doing shit all the time. I can't imagine how they're not hurting a little bit. So I'm going to throw half a unit on Raptors not to make the playoffs at plus 400. Sixers, I hate the city of Philly. I'm a New York guy. I just got beef with them just in general. They got a decent team, but I don't really believe in them too much. They lost Jimmy Butler, got Al Horford. Al Horford, that's great, but who do they have that's going to shoot? That's what I want to know. They don't have anybody who's going to shoot. Redick's gone. Ben Simmons, I think he hit his first three ever in the preseason, and all of a sudden it was a fucking clip that was circulating the internet. And, they got Embiid, they got, Tobias Harris, but they don't, who's going to shoot threes? I don't know. I'm not a fan of this number, 54.5. They're the favorites to win a division at minus 172. Not a fan of that either. So that's that. Got the Boston Celtics. Sorry, I had a couple Heinekens while I'm doing my research. I spent the last couple hours putting together spreadsheets, drinking a couple beers. But anyway, so we got the Boston Celtics. Their number is 48.5, minus 115 on the over, 105 on the under, plus 345 to win the division. Not a terrible. I got a different avenue I'm taking here, but not a terrible number. If you like the Celtics, I could definitely see you getting behind a number at 345 to win the division. They're a super deep team. I like Kemba Walker. He's not as good as Kyrie, but absolutely a decent substitute. Eddie's a fucking, workman guy. You put your fucking hard hat on, you go to work, you don't talk shit, you just fucking do your job. And he's going to teach those young guys that's the way to play basketball. I think Al Horford hurts them, which is what's keeping me away from, betting on this to win the division. But I like Enes Kanter coming in. They're pretty deep. But again, I'm not a fan of this number, 48.5. Next up, we're going to go to Brooklyn. I used to live in Brooklyn. I used to take the R train, go to a bunch of net games when they were terrible. And all of a sudden, of course, I move and I'm gone. And now they got fucking Kyrie Irving and Durant. Durant's obviously not playing. We all fucking know that. But listen, I like this. Their number right here is 43.5. Minus 120 on the over, plus 100 on the under, even money on the under. And they're plus 875 to win the division. Now, they lost to Philly in the playoffs last year. Their team is roughly the same as last year, but they have Kyrie Irving instead of D'Angelo Russell. So I think that's a recipe for going over that 43.5 because they won 42 games last year. They're a little bit deeper. They got DeAndre Jordan coming off the bench. They got Dinwiddie coming off the bench. And they got a very good starting lineup. They got defense. They got three-point shooting. They got penetration. They got a lot. I think they're a pretty good team. And, obviously Durant's not coming back. I don't think he is. Anybody was like, oh, my God, maybe at the end for a play. Nah, I don't think so. Take it easy. Just fucking relax. But I think the mentality of the team is focused. They got some winning mentality there. The coach was fantastic last year. And those two guys, they chose this program because it's a better program. Right? So I like the Nets. I like the over. I'll lay the juice, the minus 120 on the 43.5. And you know what? I'm throwing a little bit on them to win the division because I wouldn't be shocked if they beat out Philly for this division. The Knicks, final team in the Atlantic, absolute horse shit. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I like Julius Randle. I like RJ Barrett. I don't know what this Knox kid is yet. I like Mitchell Robinson. But they brought in a bunch of fucking guys that it seems like they might want to try and flip. But if you want to flip those guys, then you got to play those guys. And then you're not developing your young people. Like, I got a little bit of faith in Frank Ntilikina. I still want to see him play. I like Dennis Smith Jr. I think they got a good team, but it's not put together well. I don't know. They got good players, but I don't think it's put together well. And I like Fizdale as a coach. I just think he's given a fucking big bag of shit, and they're like, throw it at the wall and try and make the playoffs. And it's like, nah, that shit's not going to happen. So their number's 26.5. It's minus 130 on the over. I think that's right on. I could definitely see him winning 30 games, but I'm not laying that juice because I could also see him winning fucking 20 again because they're just a fucking absolute mess of a franchise, and I could see that happen going that route. So I'm staying away from the Knicks and their futures bets. Next up, we're going to go to the Central Division of the Eastern Conference, starting off with the favorite Milwaukee Bucks. Their number is 57.5, and that's to bet the over on that is plus 115 and under is 135. They lost Malcolm Brogdon, but that doesn't matter. That's Giannis's team, right? Giannis is going to do all this shit. I could definitely see a little bit drop from their record last year, 60 wins, but 57.5 is still. Like, the whole conference, who they play more than anything, is still kind of trash on the East, right? So I could definitely see them just running through shit. So I could definitely see that being over, but I don't know. I'm staying away. I don't like it. Minus 800 for the division, so there's obviously nothing there, even though I think that's pretty much lock solid, but I'm not laying fucking minus 800 for something. Get the fuck out of here. Next up, Indiana Pacers. Yeah, not a huge fan of this squad. Phone just beeped. Should have fucking turned it off. Didn't do that yet.
I couldn't quite hear you.
Yeah, and now this other. I didn't even fucking say anything to you, Siri. That's fucking weird. I mentioned phone, and all of a sudden she starts talking. But anyway, whoa. Yeah, Pacers, 46.5, minus 130 on the over, plus 675 to win the division. Look, there's some problems over in Indiana a little bit, right? Oladipo. He's not going to be there for at least like 2 months. When he comes back, they're already saying he's going to be limited. Now, Sabonis is fantastic. He's, almost like a Porzingis type, but he's already not happy with how the contract situation is going. He wants an extension. He wants to get paid. And so I could see a scenario where they get buried right off the bat. Like buried. And then Oladipo's coming back. Then they think to themselves, like, listen, let's trade Sabonis, get some draft picks, we'll do our thing. And maybe we just dedicate this year for Oladipo getting himself back because he's the fucking star of that team. And they're saying that by not fucking paying Sabonis. So give me the Indiana Pacers under 46.5 wins. Next on the list, Detroit Pistons finished third, made the playoffs as the 8th seed with 41-41. Their win total is 37.5, minus 130 on the over. See, like, this is a number, like, just make it fucking 38. Right, give me the other, like, make it 38, right? Because I don't want to pay 130, but I'm gonna, because I think they're a 500 team at least, if not a little bit better. They got the same team as last year. You know, like, the other numbers in this division don't really make sense because the Pistons have essentially the same team. They beat their number last year, which was 38.5, and then number goes down. Like, the East shuffled some of their players, but, like, they stayed in the East. So I don't get this. So give me the over for the Detroit Pistons, minus 130. You know, I like Blake Griffin. I like Andre Drummond. I like those guys out there. Derrick Rose is out there now. He's going to be coming off the bench, but I think he's going to bring some, you know, a little bit of spark as long as he's healthy. As long as he plays like 10, 15 minutes a game, you know, he's good. The rest of the team, Reggie Bullock, they're all right also. I think that they're in a decent spot, and I think that they can play 500 ball, and I think that this over will hit. Next two teams in the division, not really much to say about them. The Bulls and the Cavs, not huge fans of either. The Bulls number is 33.5 with minus 125 on the over, 105 plus 105 on the under. Yeah, not taking either of that. Plus 61.50 for the division. And the Cleveland Cavs, their number is 24.5. Nah, not taking any of that. No, thank you. The juice is on the under, minus 125, so no thank you. Plus like 49,000 to win the division. No, thank you. All right. Let's continue on into the Eastern Conference, into the Southeast Division, where we've got the Orlando Magic. So the Orlando Magic, they won this division last year at plus 5,000, 50-1, solid number. They had a 31-win total last year, blew it out of the water with 42-40. Not a great showing to win the division, but fuck, they did it right. Good for them. Their number this year is 41.5, so obviously it jumped up with them taking, you know, some strides forward. And them to win the division again is plus 163. I'm getting these numbers from 5 Dimes. There's different numbers. Obviously shop around a bit, but yeah, I like them on the over. And I like them to win the division again. The only reason that this went this way is because Jimmy Butler went to Miami. That's it. Now, Jimmy Butler, great player. Excellent player. Didn't really mesh well in Philly. I think he wants to be the number one guy. But guess what? He doesn't perform that great when he's the number one guy. He doesn't. Like, in Chicago, like, yeah, he was great for a while, but, you know, no thanks. It didn't work out, right? And that's why he went. That's why he left. He went to the Timberwolves. That was a joke, right? Fucking yelling at his soft-ass fucking teammates the whole time. And now he's in Miami. He's going to be the number one guy. He's going to get exactly what he wanted. But the supporting cast just isn't really there, right? This not. Who's he going to rely on? Justice Winslow and Goran Dragic? Like, I don't see this really working out great down there in Miami. But we weren't even talking about Miami. I just fucking went on a tangent about them. But we're talking about the Magic. They got a very good team. Super deep. They got a lot of fucking number one. They got Markelle Fultz. I think he's got his fucking mentality back. He's going to be okay. He's a number one draft pick. They got him for nothing. They got Vucevic, the center. He's like a poor man's Jokic. He's like the East Coast version. The East Coast is the poor man's fucking division in this league. And Vucevic is the fucking Jokic of the East Coast, of the Eastern Division. So, give me the Magic, over 41.5. I like them a lot here. Yeah, the rest of the East as a whole, just not fucking good. So, this is a team with a good young core, a quality fucking veteran center, and, you know, deep team coming off the bench. They got a veteran point guard in Augustine. I like them a lot. Give me the over and give me the division money. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Next up, Charlotte Hornets. absolute trash. Kemba Walker's gone. They got nothing going on over there. The number's 23 with juice on the over, one even money on the under. No, thank you. Washington Wizards. Nobody knows what John Wall's doing. He's coming back soon eventually, you think, but that team was fucking hot garbage last year. Fucking trash. Their number dropped to 27 this year. No, thank you. The plus 9,500 to win the division. Nope. The Atlanta Hawks. So they're a good young team. They're coming up. The number is reflecting it though, right? So the over-under right here is 34 wins with even money on the over, juice on the under, minus 120, plus 510 to win the division. I think the number is just too spot on. I think that they're going to be in the mid-30s in their wins. Not enough to take either way. And I don't think they're ready to make that leap into the division talk yet. And we didn't officially talk about Miami, but I did go on a fucking tangent about them and Jimmy Butler and the rest of the supporting cast and how not a huge fan I am of them. So obviously, when I say their number is 43.5, I think they can hit that number, but I still think that the Magic can beat them. Because the Magic number is 41.5, Miami's number is 43.5. They could both win, that. Like the Magic could be 46 and Miami could be 44. So I think the Miami number is about right, but I think them being the favorites for the division is what's off. So again, give me Orlando and give me them for the division. So, rapid fire, going into the Western Conference, starting off Northwest Division, and I'm going to talk about 3 teams at once. I'm going to talk about the Nuggets, the Jazz, and the Blazers. The Nuggets won the division last year. The Jazz are the hot shit talk this year. The Blazers are just sitting there like, we hit our win total every fucking year, and we're always right there. So, the Nuggets and the Jazz both sitting there at 53 and 53.5. Nuggets at 53, Jazz at 53.5. Both of them right even to win the division. Jazz plus 118, Nuggets plus 143. The Blazers, 46.5 wins, juice on the over, plus 435 to win the division. Look, I think the value in this division, in the Northwest Division, is sitting right on the Blazers. Their team is, like all these 3 teams are very much unchanged. Last year, the Blazers lost the division by 1 game. And I think the Blazers, like the Nuggets and the Jazz play similar styles. They rely on the guards and they have a pretty, the Nuggets, their center is absolutely what runs through them. But they both have quality centers. The Jazz center is more of a defensive rebounding guy, and they both have quality guards. And if anything, I think the Nuggets are a step ahead of the Jazz. I don't know where all this Jazz love came from. I mean, I like Donovan Mitchell too. I like Rudy Gobert, but I like Jokic, and I like Gary Harris, and I like Jamal Murray. But I like fucking Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Hassan Whiteside even better than that. So you know what? Give me the Blazers over. And the Blazers for the division, because I think that's a value play, right? I'm throwing half a unit on the Blazers to win the division, plus 435. The other guys, I think those numbers are spot on. Mid-50s, mid to low 50s. I think one of them could fall out. One of these is going to go under. One of them is going to go over. I'm not sure which one. I know the Blazers are going over. And you know what? Maybe maybe the Jazz and the Nuggets both go under, and the Blazers sneak out the division. Look at the numbers from last year. Nuggets were 54 and 28, Blazers were 53 and 29, and the Jazz were 50 and 32. Let's say the Jazz goes 54 and 28, the Blazers go 55, and then the Nuggets get 50 wins this year. Say like one under, one over, but you know who's definitely going over? The Blazers. The other 2 teams in this division, the Thunder, I don't really like them. I think Chris Paul's barely going to play this year because I think he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want anything to do with that. They fucking shipped him off into Nowheresville. The only thing and he doesn't have it in him anymore to put a team on his fucking shoulders. And as much as everybody loves Steven Adams, I fucking love Steven Adams. He's not like an offensive compliment. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, just full of a bunch of fucking soft dudes. That is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like when you go to a Minnesota Timberwolves game in Minnesota, everybody who lives there is from Minnesota. Like everybody in the crowd. You gotta be hard as shit to live in Minnesota. It is cold as fuck there all the time. Like the winters there, it's just like, hey, the sheet of ice started in October, and guess what? It doesn't fucking melt until May. Like you gotta be hard as shit to live there. When there's a Minnesota Timberwolves basketball game, everybody in the crowd is harder than the fucking team. Team is soft. Karl-Anthony Towns is soft. Wiggins is soft. Fuck them all. Nothing on these guys. They'll still win in the mid-30s. I just don't want anything to do with it. Let's see. Let's talk about the Pacific Division real quick. Let's talk about and I say real quick because I got nothing on this division. Because I don't know what is going to go on here. I know the Clippers are going to fight for it. I think they're probably they are the favorites, Vegas-wise. I looked at the Lakers lineup and I wanted to shit on them, but it's not terrible. Like they got Danny Green, they got Rondo, like they got obviously LeBron and fucking Anthony Davis, but the supporting cast is better than it was in my head. And so I came into this doing this research to fucking shit on them and look for an under, but I can't. And the Clippers, they're the ones that, they're lacking a little bit of depth over there. But I think that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are fucking big enough superstars that they can just carry everybody with them. So if I had to lean, I like the Clippers under, but I'm staying away from it, not putting any money on the Clippers, on the Lakers. The Warriors situation is too crazy. I kind of like the under, but, I don't know. I think Steph Curry, Draymond Green are going to be pissed. D'Angelo Russell played super good for fucking Brooklyn last year. So if those three guys could absolutely pull them up to, decent level, mid-40s, and then Klay Thompson comes back in the second half of the year, and they could go on a run, probably make the playoffs, and then you never know what's going to happen in there then. They're going to have three dynamic scorers and Draymond Green. But yeah, I don't like any of those teams. Sacramento Kings, they blew the league away last year. They beat their total by 13 games. This year it sits at 38.5, right where they were last year. If I have to pick, I think they're going down, but
sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
I am not fucking talking to you, man. But yeah, if I had to pick, I think the Sacramento Kings are going under, but I like Bagley. Harrison Barnes is there, good veteran talent. But this, the Western is just always fucking loaded. And so I think that they got lucky a couple times last year, and I don't want anything to do with it. Phoenix, I don't know what's going on over there. They get a top 5 pick every year, but for some reason they just can't get anything to work out. 29.5 is their number. They won 19 fucking games last year. No thanks. I am staying away from that dumpster fire. And so that goes through the Pacific Division. Now let's talk about the Southwest for a few minutes. The Houston Rockets, they're going to win the division again. I mean, nobody in this conference can fuck with them. Zion's out now, so the Pelicans have zero chance. Not even if he was there. They could have 2 fucking Zions, and it's not going to matter. The Rockets are going to win the division. Minus 280, not enough for me to put the money on it. 53.5 seems, it might even be a little bit high, and I think that they could win the division even under 53, because I think a lot of the teams in this division are not going to be good this year. So I think right now I might even be talking myself into a little bit of a Rockets under. Give Harden and Westbrook a little bit of time to gel. They haven't yet. And yeah, they only won 53 last year. So I'm staying away from it. I already like enough stuff. I'm staying away from it. So I got nothing for the Rockets. So next up, let's talk about the Spurs. Their number is 45.5. Juice on the over of 115. Minus 105 for the under. Plus 485 to win the division. Like I said, I have no faith in them to win the division. But look, I think this is an under. I think this might be an under year for them. They've got largely the same team. Their number last year was 43.5. They played over their heads. They won 48 games. And I think that they're due to regress this year. I think they're probably going to be like a 500 team, maybe even a little bit worse. Them not to make the playoffs is plus 175. I think I'm going to throw a unit on the under and a unit on them not to make the playoffs. The West is stacked. As long as that Pacific Division stays somewhat healthy, you could get 3 playoff teams out of there. You're going to get 3 out of the Northwest. And then you get the Rockets for sure coming out of the Southwest. And maybe the Mavericks? I like the Mavericks a little bit, right? Porzingis, Doncic. But they don't have too much depth either. But still, maybe the Sacramento Kings take us another step forward. Maybe Phoenix finally realizes, oh, with a shitload of fucking top 5 picks, we can maybe play a little basketball, and they do. But I like the Spurs under. I think that LaMarcus Aldridge is getting a little bit old. He played 81 fucking games last year, and he's got a lot of miles on those knees. DeRozan's good, but same thing. Like, if Aldridge is out, he's not going to be able to carry it. And even the two of them together, like, watching them last year, it was like, I don't know, it was like watching basketball, like, in an old movie with, like, everybody with the high-ass shorts and everything. Like, they didn't do anything exciting. They were like, I don't know, half court, slow it down, let's fucking, nah. That doesn't fly too much anymore. So, listen, give me the under in the Spurs. Give me them not to make the playoffs at plus 175. Let's talk about, I talked about the Mavs for a second already, so let's talk about them. 41.5, over is plus 100, under is minus 120. I think that's probably right around where it should be. 500 ball from those guys. Give them a little bit of time. Porzingis to get back on the court, and they got no fucking depth, right? They got nothing out there aside from those two guys, and those two guys are gonna be good. They're gonna be amazing, but they need to put a little bit more around them. Memphis Grizzlies, they ain't got shit going on out there. They got Ja Morant, but he's already gonna be banged up to start the season. Their win total is 26.5. Over's got the juice at minus 120. I think I might actually bet the under on this one. If I have to lean, I'm going to lean under. I'm not making any bets on it, though. Plus 25,000 for the division. Nothing going on there. I don't want anything to do with Memphis. And last up, New Orleans Pelicans. Zion. They took this number off the board the other day because they said he's not going to play for a couple weeks. It started at 39.5. I would have went under at 39.5, even with Zion. And I'm going to be waiting for them to put this number back on the board so I can go under whatever it is then. So, I got nothing for it right now, though. So, let's just recap real quick. What is Mike the fucking Sports Dope betting on for the NBA futures? So, I'm going over for the Brooklyn Nets, over 43.5 games. I'm also throwing a little bit on them to win the division at plus 875. I'm going under on the Indiana Pacers, 46.5. I'm going over on the Detroit Pistons, 47 or 37.5 wins. Orlando Magic, I'm going over the 41.5, and I'm throwing a unit on the division at plus 163. I'm going with the Blazers, Portland Trail Blazers, over 46.5, and throwing about half a unit on them to win the division at plus 435. Last up, we're going under on the San Antonio Spurs. Under 45.5. LaMarcus Aldridge, too old for this shit. He's fucking Danny Glover out there. And that's what I got. I am Mike. I'm the Sports Dope. I'm just some fucking idiot who's degenerately betting on all this shit and just wants to talk about it. So that's what I am. You can find me on Twitter at ThatSportsDope or Instagram with the same name. mindsofmike.com/thesportsdope. That's where you'll find all the social media icons that you can find me, YouTube, iTunes, whatever the fuck it is. And that's it. That's really all I got. It's Saturday night. I'm going to drink a few more of those beers. And that's it. Good luck tomorrow, Sunday football. And that's it. Peace out.